Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome once again to Mad Realms Talking Skritt. I am your host, Jim. We're still talking balance this week. It's just instead of Icebrew Saga Champions balance, we're talking PvP balance and then a few other things. But before we get into that, let me get to my fellow host for today. We talked about this last night. She does safe for work things on the internet. It's Arlie.
I'm sorry, that amuses me a lot because, like, my raid group this week got in a random discussion of OnlyFans, and somebody in our raid group didn't know what OnlyFans were.
Oh, God.
And, like, it started this whole thing, and we're like, well, if you're a creator on the internet, you have to have an OnlyFans. You can't exist if you don't have OnlyFans.
See, and I was going to launch into something about journalisming again, but, like, I think that that takes that. So we're just going to move on to that, where to our final host for the day. He streams over on Twitch where he answers the age-old question, how much tank could a tank thief tank if a tank thief could tank tanks?
About 7 people.
Dang.
I'm gonna have to run.
Yeah,
Dang.
wait, what your phrasing there reminded me of, Jim? Tank to tank, 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 tank-a-tank-a-dang. Sorry.
God, no, now I'm going back to Nickelodeon shows in my head.
I couldn't help myself.
Well,
Sorry.
it's okay. Max showing up and the podcast is already derailed, so that's neither here nor there. So let's get into the biggest thing we've got for the past week is the balance patch that we ended up getting on the 23rd, on Tuesday of this past week. A whole lot of nerfs in PvP and WvW for people who need to stop doing so much damage and healing. Which
Nerf it all.
well, we do have some preparations for not PvP. A vendor for previous April Fool's celebrations in Hooligan's Route in Lion's Arch. New cats visible while under the effects of the Chatoyant elixir, or similar effects have been added to each city.
Yay, new cats.
So, which, I mean, I'm going to hope that these are on the same scale as the giant cat in Lion's Arch Bay.
Yeah.
So, other than that, I look forward to seeing all of the illusory cats. But the big thing with PvP is we got a big blog update, forum post update from Cal Cohen, who is a competitive game designer at ArenaNet, to talk about the changes that they did for the balance patch, and then also talking about future investigations. And I will fully admit, I didn't get a chance to look at the looking ahead part, but there is stuff in here for Condition Guardian nerfs, Permeating Wrath, which is, I think that's the buff to the Virtues line, where it reduces the number of hits for Virtue of Justice to trigger, and then also makes it AoE. So burning duration is reduced. Eternal Armory, which is the spirit weapon trait, reduce the duration of the burning on that. And then Sword of Justice, which is the big offender for the Burn Guardian, is ammunition is down from 3 to 2 in PvP, and it increased the cooldown between skill uses from 1 second to 5 seconds, so you can't stack them on top of each other.
Oh.
Which I have been on the receiving end many times in PvP. It's not fun. I don't like it. There's a lot of fire. It's awful.
Yeah, burning has the highest stacking damage. Is the highest stacking damaging condition.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, getting 11 stacks of that within 2 seconds is very bad for anyone, unless you have resistance or Connie cleanse it right away.
Generally speaking, if in current Guild Wars 2 PvP anything, you don't have resistance for very long because Scourge exists. So
Yep.
which tends to be my problem with resistance being something that is corruptible. So there's that. And this is something I wasn't expecting to see. Minion Necromancer nerfs.
Yeah. Surprising.
Like, Flesh of the Master reduced minion health bonus from 50% to 25% in PvP only. And Death Nova, which is the little poison field that they drop whenever minions die, reduced the power coefficient from 0.6 to 0.45 in PvP only. It's tiny changes, but, like, minions are getting nerfed in PvP. Like, my experience with Minion Mancer is it's just a meme. Like,
yeah,
I'm surprised by this.
I think there's the Flesh of the Master one is the one from which form?
I'm sorry, what?
My Hero Academia Season 5.
Is it starting?
Yep.
Ah, shit.
Uh-oh.
My Hero Academia Season 5 is starting.
Oh.
Ooh.
So we still have to... I bought the second movie. We still have to watch that. No,
Yeah,
Flesh of the Master is the... it's a trait.
Oh, it's a trait. Minions have increased health.
Yeah.
Oh, gain toughness for each minion you control.
Yeah.
That's why they do. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but, like, was it seriously a problem? Like...
Pets in PvP are in a really weird spot. Like, they have to be tanky enough so that they don't just get instantly cleaved out. But that, like, that's why they got the like 99% damage reduction in PvE, because bosses would just incidentally destroy pets.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like in general, pets are too easy to kill. And, like, I haven't PvP'd in a while, but I can't recall ever having an issue with any pets in general.
Yeah. Well, it's because I think it's more so because the 50% increase in the pet health means it takes longer to kill the necro minions. And the whole point is, like, Mofongo's bringing up that Necro has the highest health pool. Flesh of the Master gives 2 stacks of Death's Carapace for every minion up, which is 40 toughness. And with Reaper, with the one shout, with a bunch of other abilities, you can have a whole bunch of pets up, so you have this giant spike of toughness. So the counter would be kill the minions, make the Necro squishier.
Right.
So
that takes time.
Exactly. Like, the number of times I haven't been able to fight the ranger, so I've killed the pet, because a lot of the stuff with a ranger requires pet management, so you can make a ranger far less effective if you kill their pet. But
just kind of rude.
I mean, yes, but I'm not going to do that to somebody in real life. It would be awful. This is not... I'm just going to move on from that topic. But, yeah, Minion Master changes in PvP. Shocker. Now, this next one, Support Core Guardian, getting nerfed. Stand Your Ground, increase cooldown from 45 seconds to 60 seconds in PvP only, which I believe is the stability shout. Pure of Heart, reduce the heal scaling from 0.3 to 0.15. Can't remember what Pure of Heart is, and while I look that up, we'll talk about the rest of them. Virtue of Resolve reduces the heal scaling from 1.4 to 1.0. Oh, it was an overscaling. Okay, 1.4 to 1.0 in PvP only. So that's the heal you get when you activate Virtue of the AoE heal. Shield of Judgment reduced the protection duration from 4 seconds to 2 seconds in PvP only. And Shield of Judgment is the summoned weapon, if I recall correct. Or is that the... Oh, when Aegis blocks, it heals. Okay. Yeah, Pure of Heart, when Aegis blocks, it heals. Didn't realize it had such a high heal scaling, because you can pump out Aegis like nobody's business on a Guardian. Yeah. So, have the healing from that, and Shield of Judgment. Shield of Judgment. Oh no, it's Shield 4, the swing. It gives Aegis and protection.
Oh, yeah.
It's the giant like cone effect from Shield. So yeah, just in general, let's stop the Aegis spam from Guardians, which is great. I might actually get back into PvP with a lot of this.
Sword of Justice looks like it's pretty big. So.
Yeah, the nerf on Sword of Justice is huge. And that's just because it covers it's a lot of the same problems with like Wells or Symbols, where it covers a whole small point effectively. So
right.
you, with the amount of burning that a Guardian could put out, you must leave the point.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you cannot stand in there and eat it unless you are just fighting the Guardian and you have access to resistance, like Abe was saying. So, but any thief-centric thoughts on Core Guardian, or did you just move away from them because they can't catch you, Age?
It's more like because like a Guardian. Okay, so there's two types of Guardians. There's Burn Guardian and there's the Support Guardian. So Burn Guardian, you kind of have to be careful around. You just need to be able to cleanse at any moment. But it's possible to fight. The Support Guardian's a lot harder to kill just because of the amount of Aegis and healing they're getting, and especially if you hit with Aegis, they get the heal. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a cooldown on that, so it makes it very difficult. So, so it's best to just +1 that, if anything, I guess.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's all I got.
Well, at the very least, with Shield of Judgment, it's a 20-second cooldown for that Aegis proc. So, like, that's Mafongo. What you're saying is they're nerfing Aegis, not the output of Aegis, just the effects from Aegis. So, I can't stand your ground. I swear it's stability.
Should be.
It might also be Aegis. No, retaliation and 5 stacks of stability. So, yeah, they're just shaving off effects tied to Aegis, which is fine. I understand what you're saying about, being careful with Aegis, because Guardian is the low health pool, heavy armor class. And the whole point of Aegis is they're supposed to be active. Yeah, Mafongo. Aegis was originally kind of designed to be like specifically a Guardian thing, with the original design of Guild Wars 2. So I understand that. I don't know how many other classes are able to throw Aegis around.
Mesmer.
I'd imagine Mesmer can do it at least a little bit. And that's about it. Oh, Mesmers and Engineers.
Oh yeah, Engineers. Thief with the Globavecto.
Yeah, but I don't think you can really balance. Like, Globavecto is supposed to be a giant. Like, it's all boons, right?
Yeah.
Guardian, Mesmer.
Oh, that's right. You can just look up Aegis on the
wiki. Rangers can do it.
Oh.
Dragon Hunter can do it.
Good.
Protomancer can. A lot of the elite specs. It's like.
Yeah, so it's kind of eroded away from Guardian. But
the main base classes are Ranger, Guardian, Mesmer.
Well, it's only technically for Ranger, because we heal as one just copies boons between you and your.
You could say that, but it's like everyone steals a little bit of something from every other class, so we're at that point.
But that's really. I think it's good changes for support core Guardian, like for support Guardian, because that was one of the most infuriating things. Is like, I either have to stop damaging them, in which case their heal skills allow them to regain their health, or I have to break the Aegis, in which case it heals them. So my only choice is you just kind of apply constant pressure and wait out their cooldowns. Which this means that they have a little bit of a shorter time to kill. Which is fine, I think. Make it a class boon only, you think, Mofongo? Huh.
Oh, Scourge has a trait that also grants Aegeus too.
Okay, that's a little... Oh yeah, feed from corruption. Oh, whenever you remove or corrupt a boon, gain that boon. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say that's granting Aegis because it's more you're stealing it.
Yeah, but it technically,
Yeah. But moving on from that, something I didn't think to see here either is Ventari Revenant nerfs. It's a lot of stuff that I wasn't expecting. Energy Expulsion. Reduce the knockback distance from 450 to 100 in PvP only. That, I believe, is the elite tablet skill that blows up the tablet.
Yeah.
Which was something from Boots. I remember watching his original inception of the Ventari Revenant, where the whole thing was to just keep people off the point by blowing up the tablet. Yeah. And that's similar to the previous nerfs to Ranger Greatsword 4. They nerfed the kick in the similar way. The kick originally was, I think, a 300 or 450 50 range knockback, and they reduced it to 100, so you can't just boot somebody off the point. It's basically it's a similar knockdown to like something in Rampage. There's a short or the knockdown from Bull's Rush, the warrior utility. So blinding truths. This trait now has an internal cooldown of 10 seconds in PvP only. And then Surging Mists increase the cooldown from 20 seconds to 25 seconds in PvP only. Blinding Truths. Blind foes when you use a healing skill, which makes sense because Ventari Revenants just move the tablet, and moving the tablet is like a 2-second cooldown. So you would blind people in a 240 radius around you every time you moved the tablet slightly. So I can see where that would be awful in PvP. And Surge of the Mists. I want to say that's a staff skill?
Yeah.
Is that the knockdown? Yeah.
Either the 4 or the 5.
Yeah,
it's the
knock
5.
Back.
Yeah, charge forward, knocking back enemies that cross your path. So, 25-second cooldown in PvP now.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because you could also use that as an evade, so...
Yeah, because it's a 1-second evade, 3 targets. Does a decent amount of damage. It's a 9 hit. So that's pretty good. He even says Ventari Revenant is getting a similar adjustments to its knockback that we made to Ranger Greatsword, retaining its crowd control while reducing the decap threat. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Any comments on other than like my only comment is holy shit, targeted nerfs at Ventari Revenant coming out, like that just shocks me. But
I think they're just trying to mitigate all the support. They're trying to mitigate support options not being kind of the thing that wins you the game just by being alive. That's kind of they don't want a bunker meta again, because that's just awful to have in Guild Wars 2 PvP, where initially the whole thing was centered around you're supposed to heal yourself and kind of just fight, but and to have passive healing for other people, if anything. But now we have all these different types of setups with Druid and things like that, so it's it makes it more viable to be a healer, or be able to be bunkery. So it's try to mitigate that. But that's what happens when you introduce like a soft trinity in a game that wasn't supposed to have a trinity in the first place. So
Yeah.
Any further thoughts there, or should we move on to Shiro Renegade nerfs?
No.
Okay. Well, this one it's Charged Mists, which is the invocation trait, where invoking a legend while at or below a threshold grants more energy to the legend you're changing to. That change is going from 25 energy to 10 in PvP only.
Wow.
Yeah. Phase Traversal, which is a Shiro skill. I think that's the charge. Yep. Step through the mists to the target. Your next few attacks can't be blocked.
Oh.
Yep.
What are they doing to it?
Increase cooldown from 5 seconds to 12 seconds in PvP only.
Yeah.
That's rough. Like Shiro's gotten a lot of nerf actually. I don't know what it's like now.
I can't remember what it used to. Oh, that's right. They put the quickness on this because when they took the quickness off of Unstoppable Odds, they put it onto because it's 3 seconds of quickness on a 5-second cooldown.
Yeah, like I agree with increasing cooldown. That's a lot of increase.
Yeah.
Like they've over doubled.
Well, that's another 7 seconds of cooldown. That's pretty
I mean,
hefty.
ideally it's supposed to be your end gauge, so I think 12 seconds is okay
Yeah.
for an end gauge.
Yeah.
Right. But like it could also be useful in combat, especially if you happen to be fighting.
Yeah, multiple people. Or if you need it as an escape, like there's somebody running in and they're near like an advantageous place for you to jump out and break line of sight, you blink to them and like drop off a ledge and like run around a corner or something like that. I could see that easily being used at like Skyhammer fighting on mid. It's like somebody's coming from spawn and you blink to them and you drop down off the path, so.
No.
But they mentioned Surge of the Mists again because staff that kind of knockback on a weapon is just too strong, and staff also has a block, so that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't play too much of my Revenant at all, sadly, so I don't have too much to talk about here.
Yeah. I kind of miss my Revenant a little bit.
I definitely regret level boosting my Revenant.
Oh yeah?
Yes, because when Hot came out and they're like, here, have a free level 80, and I'm like, well, clearly I'm going to use that on my Revenant, and I did that, and then I had no idea what I was doing. So, it's why I stopped playing the Revenant. And finally, oops, all Revenant, Power Herald nerfs. Phase Traversal mentioned and Surge of the Mist mentioned again. The last thing here, Infuse Light, reduced duration of damage inversion effect from 3 seconds to 2 seconds in PvP only. Infuse Light, I believe, is the Herald heal skill that turns incoming damage. Consume Fast of Light to heal yourself and convert all incoming strikes to heals for a short duration. Yeah. So the heal facet pulses regen. And then you activate it to heal yourself and then turns all damage incoming into healing.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed out on all the low level and no utility on a rev. Yeah, I suppose.
I was gonna say, I was thinking, like, when you were talking about it, I was like, low level on Revenant suck, but I can't remember why. And then when he said it, I was like, ah.
It's okay. I'll just use my racial skills to fill those slots. But, reduce the damage inversion from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. So, shorter window for healing. Which is, I always see people say a second's not that much. And it's like a second in an action combat PvP game is a lot.
Yep. Well, I think that's one of the things a lot of people don't realize, even when they're playing PvP, is like how quickly time goes by, like in a fight. Well, not how quickly, like how much time is in each second.
Like
What I
how
meant to
much
say.
can happen in a single second.
Thank you. I was like, I can't think of the say how I mean it. But
Age.
yeah.
To use an example from a different game, how much can happen in a single Morgana Dark Binding?
Death.
That's a bad example because Morgana's Dark Binding in League of Legends is a 3-second CC.
Oh.
A 3-second root.
That's
In
an eternity.
action, yeah.
I mean, like, if you catch anyone, really. Actually, last night is kind of proof of that because my Basilisk Venom is like a 1 second petrify.
Mm-hmm.
I was messing around with it, and but because I did the Venom share, I shared it to like 5 people. So whenever someone got interrupted, I immediately targeted that person, and half the time that person just got nuked. So you should like death. Do you think it's? I do think it's a long time. I think it's enough because like you could potentially get a kill off 1 second stun.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
I know people complained again. I'm going off of more League examples. Tarek's stun is a 1.5 second. Well, his old before pre-rework Tarek was a point and click 1.5 second stun. Like you couldn't avoid it, you couldn't stop it. It just happened, but like it felt like an eternity, and it was only a second and a half. So I look at this like infused light going from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. That's you're taking a death's judgment potentially if you mistime it. So I'm just trying to think of something, or like a decapitate from a warrior. So it gives you a much harder window on using it to avoid damage. I actually kind of wish they'd put more things in the game that did this, that converted incoming damage to healing. Because I find it to be an interesting concept.
I think they have to be careful with that because people will just get reckless depending on what class.
Well, that's why it has to be like short window stuff like this. Like I honestly feel like leaving it at a 2 second duration across the game wouldn't be a terrible idea, specifically for this. If only because I feel like Herald would have a lot of access to healing otherwise, because if you really needed healing other than like the pulsing regen, you have your shield. Like you can swap to shield and you can use the shell. You mean like getting healed when Aegis breaks? Yes, Mofongo. Kind of, sort of. But I think Aegis is a little too... I don't know how much I like the idea of that, because Aegis is something you apply. This Infused Light is a class-specific thing. I can't apply this to other people. So I feel like that's the difference here. But that was the last class-specific thing. If you guys have anything to add more on, apparently the beatdown that Revenant got on this patch.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Power and support, pretty much the same issue with Guardian, pretty much.
Yeah. The final thing, there are 3 big old paragraphs in a looking ahead section that Cal drops. The first one is talking about Mender's Amulet Scourge. So apparently support Scourge is looking really strong, which I always thought was really cool, like to really focus hard on the barrier aspect of Scourge. But I felt like it was overshadowed by Condi bombing Scourge. Which is understandable. People always want to do the big. That's why it's so easy to find DPS in MMOs, and
Flashy.
harder to find a healer. I make big numbers and make things fall down, go dead.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole thing with Mender's Amulet is apparently, and I'm going to read the quote here. Something else that we've been evaluating is the state of the Mender's Amulet. The general pace of the game right now is slower than we'd like to see. Mender plays a big part in this, both through the strength of the bulkier support builds that have been in meta recently, Spellbreaker and Core Guardian, and previous metas with the Tempest, as well as the more sustain-oriented side node builds that tend to stalemate fights. The other main component of combat pacing is the amount of damage available. Looking back at something like pre-nerf Grenade Hollowsmith, for all of the problems it had, it was very good at pushing damage and combating bunker play. We're wary of bringing damage back up to that level and want to start with some adjustments to sustain before re-evaluating damage. To that end, we're looking at removing Mender and Martial amulets and adding an improved version of the Sigil of Transference, which increases outgoing healing, to make up some of the healing loss for support builds. This would also include a few adjustments for healing sources that are most heavily impacted by this shift. Notable among those are Selfless Daring and Elemental Bastion, as well as Call of Valor, which does not benefit from transference. Overall, some sources would heal allies for a bit more, and some would heal for a bit less than they do with Mender, but the self-healing of support builds would be lower. Side node builds that currently play Mender would also be pushed onto Avatar Amulet, hopefully resulting in fewer stalemates and increased kill potential. We still want dedicated support builds to be a viable choice, and we'd be keeping a close eye on the impact of these changes going forward, but we think that given the current state of the game, Mender creates more problems than it solves, and it's worth looking at. So with the removal of Mender and Martial, there will only be 2 other amulets, and this is coming from tweets I saw coming out of Jebro, because he even did a whole video on the apparent removal of... I believe it's the standard YouTube video title hyperbole, but like the removal of support from Guild Wars 2 PvP.
Yeah.
I, as somebody who always enjoys playing Bruiser in a game, somebody who has a certain level of tankiness, I don't like the idea of going too hard on bunker builds like this. What are your thoughts here, Age?
So I've actually seen some people go like I've seen like 50-50 on this, where people want to remove the amulets versus keeping them. They both give these interesting reasons, but I think the main issue is again that if it's going to be support, like one or two support characters in the game shouldn't be the reason you win the game.
Yeah,
because you bunker down 2 points, and then you just have the other 3 rotate in between those 2 points. Like that shouldn't be the reason you win the game, and that is a problem. But again, like not having those types of classes kind of kills the diversity of what you can play. So, and like with possibly new elite specs in the next expansion, which is most likely, honestly, but there's just going to be probably more of that. So they kind of have to find that balance of having support classes, but not having a high success rate on winning games. I don't know if removing the amulet, like, because I haven't been playing PvP, so I can't really say that if you remove these amulets and replace it with a sigil, it'll be better. Maybe I'm not sure what amulets did they get rid of ones with toughness? I think
they
it's just
got rid
vitality
of
now.
a lot of amulets that had toughness and vitality as a combination. You
Okay,
can still
yeah.
find vitality and toughness amulets, but I don't think there
not
are
together.
any. Yeah, I don't think there are any that have that together.
Okay. And it really comes down to because more of the Because I would go more vitality based and then just vitality healing, whatever, as a third or fourth stat, and then just use that as my support amulet. But
I do want to bring up what White Strake said in chat for people who just listen. There is a point where having no bunkers will just dilute it to a burst race, but there's also a problem with bunkers being too good, such as pre-nerf Bunker Scrapper, where you could tank 3 to 4 people at once very easily, and that's a good point. Like, and it dovetails pretty well with what Age said. Is like if you just bunker down 2 points and the rest of your team just kind of rolls around playing cleanup, like bouncing between the 2 nodes, plus 3ing the defender, I guess. I suppose the issue here comes from having to balance for both organized and unorganized play. Because how often do you see people talk to each other in a ranked game?
I mean,
Like
aside
standard
from yelling at each other?
Yeah, aside from yelling at each other, like, how often do you have people that, like, strategize? Often enough, there's not time to. There's no time to talk about anything. So, increase the caps to 4? Oh, add a 4th node on the maps? Yeah, so you'd have to spread your forces a little thinner. I suppose that is one of the things that that is nice. I've seen people counter, like, the first bell on Capricorn by full capping the rest of the map.
Yep.
And then just having 1 or 2 people run interference at the bell point just to delay the capture, so that if you got all 3 points, you end up basically making first bell a wash. So, I suppose adding that 4th point could upset that balance. So that wouldn't be terrible. A single bunker would be about it. Would be all you could really manage. I suppose that my issue with bunkers is much the same as my issue with thieves. Now, Age, and I don't just hate thieves. My issue is the thieves' ability to get out constantly. I have never felt like I've been capable. The only time I have ever felt I've ever won a fight with a thief, and I've watched it happen, like, and I've seen the thief mess up. And the only reason I won is because the thief messed up, not because I played well. I didn't capitalize on a cooldown window. I didn't make a good catch using a skill at the right time. They screwed up. I capitalized on their screw up, but it required them to screw up first. Now, that I think is one of the bigger problems with, like, a lot of the super bunkery support specs, like with Guardian. I feel like it's, especially like the best example was Firebrand at Path of Fire release. Like the combo of Path of Fire Scourge on a point, that you could never outdo their cooldowns. So that's my problem with a lot of bunker, is that they have the rotational ability to always have an answer to the pressure that's supposed to be their counter.
yeah, and I don't mind if they nerf those things. And Thief in particular, I don't mind if they nerf those things, but the problem is now I have low damage in addition to all those things.
Right.
Whereas I think Guardian, we'll have to see, honestly, after if people play and they feel like they're still doing okay. But yeah.
Oh, retaliation. Yeah, because that would proc. That would, well, I mean, them hitting you would break them out of the stealth anyway, but it's. I suppose that's the thing. It's like, if you want to, like, I don't mind thieves being able to do the setup and, like, hit me for 80% of my health and make me panic, and then, you know, stabbing me and doing the flippy stuff for the rest of my health. But interesting. Make stealth the same as super speed, no stacking duration. Age, as the resident thief expert, what do you think of that?
Mm-hmm.
No stacking duration.
Like you apply a stack of stealth, and that's just what you get. You don't get to stack the duration. It just refreshes to the cooldown of whatever you, or to the duration of whatever you just applied.
They would have to increase stealth duration on some stealth skills. Just because of reveal. Since stealth is a way to mitigate damage just by being invisible for a thief, it's important to have access to stealth if you're playing stealth oriented. So either you could do the no stack duration thing, but you have to increase the duration on some stealth skills in order to do that. No, even with shadow arts, there are some skills that are just like really short.
Because remember, Shadow Arts is designed right now with stealth stacking. So if you remove that fundamental behavior of stealth, you would have to alter the way everything that affects stealth is balanced. It could be interesting. I mean, that could even be a trait that allows stealth to stack in Shadow Arts. But I don't know if you'd want to remove it only to give it back as a trait, because that might feel like a cheat move.
Well, it's kind of like you have to do both, right? Because people will run Shadow Arts, people won't run Shadow Arts, so you have to find that balance as well.
It's an interesting conundrum. We can talk more about it in after show, because we've got so far close to an hour on balance. But
Yay.
It's this. I don't know. It's one of those things, like, the most fun I ever had playing my warrior, to go back to the whole like Mender's Amulet and bunker build stuff. The most fun I ever had on my warrior was playing a mace shield longbow berserker build. And it was a Condi, I don't want to say focus, but a Condi based spec that was bruiserish. It was vitality. I don't remember the amulet that I was using, but the entire design was interrupts and grinding someone down. And it was tons of fun, but I can't play that build anymore because it is not viable in PvP. Warrior plays like an assassin. Like, I need to jump in, do my damage, and leave. I can't get in, take hits, and be the kind of tank that you would expect someone in heavy armor is supposed to be, just by virtue of being a heavy armor class. Which kind of bothers me to a sense, because when you hear warrior in like a fantasy RPG setting, you kind of think of somebody who is capable of both taking and dishing out damage, right? So it's just the practicalities of balance are kind of clashing with the direction that they want PvP to be. So
yeah, I don't know about warrior right now. It's just I've only fought like conditioned berserkers recently, so I can't say other like any other builds. But this I can't say for PvP actually, but I understand where you're coming from. I understand.
Yeah. But any final thoughts on the potential? Oh, sorry, got to get it for the YouTube. The nuking of the support specs from all of Guild Wars 2 PvP.
You should make, part of that our title.
Because ArenaNet Dev says support specs are absolutely destroyed.
There's a minus 300 toughness when
Enraged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. That they did that for Enrage a while ago to counterbalance all the healing.
I mean, if it is weak enough, they should look into that, or at least cut that in half, maybe.
Mm-hmm. It's just probably something they haven't been able to go back and re-evaluate while they're focusing on more immediate concerns.
Because if you have 0 toughness, do you go negative?
You can't, because
Yeah.
baseline at level 80 is 1,000
Oh yeah, that's true.
from character.
That'd be funny.
Yes. That's what I was
yeah.
gonna say.
But yeah, they should look into at least putting that to like 180 maybe to see, and then slowly transition.
Fatal Frenzy. Berserk mode increases power and condition but reduces toughness. Plus 300 to power and condition and minus 300 toughness.
Oh,
That is the minor Grandmaster trait.
yeah. I get like if overall when you run that and they're weak enough, like the damage isn't there to benefit from that, they could look into reducing that to start
Mm-hmm.
to see if it feels better.
Yeah, and then Eternal Champion is the one that gives you 300 toughness back. So gain toughness while in burst mode, gain
I'm
stability and
wondering-
might when breaking stuns.
I don't know if the Connie Berserkers I've been fighting run that. That's the thing. I don't know. So
Yep. It's the minor Grandmaster White Strike. Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
oh, it's a grandma. Oh,
Yeah, it is
okay.
it is the minor trait for the Grandmaster tier of Berserker. That's just the thing that you
Okay,
get.
so they are using it. Okay,
Yeah.
so Connie Berserker's good in Warlords World, at least. So
But it was I don't know if I think Eternal Champion isn't worth it, because it's basically you're just getting rid of the 300 toughness loss while in Berserk mode, and then you get might and you get 3 stacks of might and a stack of stability for 3 seconds when you break stuns, which self boon application is nothing in PvP anymore with scourges existing. Honestly, I feel like scourges existing screw up a lot.
Yes.
Especially with anything with boon balance. It's just awful. But I think that's enough talk there. We can move on to the next bit for the updates, I think. Any objections?
Okay.
That's okay, Arlie. Keep that yawn going because it's Gemstore stuff.
Yay.
Yeah, exactly. We got more March sales for March Madness. I think today's sale was shit, I literally just had it and the train of thought crashed. Returning, the Aetherbound Gauntlets, Greaves, and Pauldrons came back. I was looking at those with we're getting to that, White Strike. I promise that's its whole own thing. We're getting there. The Aetherbound Gauntlets, Greaves, and Pauldrons are ridiculous. They are like the most mirror finished burnished chrome that I have ever seen on a character.
Mm-hmm.
Guild. They just tweeted it out like an hour before we started the show. Twitter, why is your CSS awful? Today's sale is instant level 80 tickets. So if you too want to skip the awfulness of low level Revenant, instant level 80 tickets are 25% off. Not that I really want to advocate buying instant level 80 characters on any game, because I remember when they started doing that for World of Warcraft, and I was just like, Anyway.
I mean, honestly, the way classes professions this game, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I think it's the biggest deal if you're a new player. You don't know the systems. It's easy to get over.
We have a new mount license with the loot box version and the choosy box version. The Lost Era mount adoption license. I'm going to go ahead and grab the blog post so y'all can see the list here in chat. It will be in links for those of you on the YouTubes. Raptors, the Dark Mist Prowler, and the Veiled Chameleon. The Springer is the Sinister Feline, which, interesting that they made the Springer look like a cat, and that cat looks very angry. The Skimmer, the Exalted Sea Sentry, and the Open Ocean Glaucus, which they have pictures of that, and it looks like somebody used the internet, like the Pokemon combiner of like a Pokemon and a manta ray, like a bird and a manta ray. It's really weird looking. The Jackal, the Tidal Lightpaw, and the Desert Sheba. So we have more Shebas, I guess. The Phosphor Coast Osprey and Crested Sutherland Griffins. The Flame Brushed Roller Beetle. The Arene's Prismatic Skyscale. The Stargaze Skyscale. And the Gilded Shortfang Skyscale. And the Luminous Raider Warclaw. And the Tundra Grimalkin Warclaw. So, whole bunch of new stuff. I know that the Stargaze Skyscale is our thumbnail for this week's show. It's pretty. It's got trail effects on the wings. But, mounts, yay. And then the Black Lion chest has been updated to the Mystic Spring chest and can be previewed for a full list of its contents. The Desert King and Mordrum weapon collections are available in the box. It's the Nashblade exotic weapon grab bag, which is just, here have exotic weapons. The Mystic Smoking Pipe Warhorn skin, the 7 Reaper Pauldrons, the uncommons, and then the rares of the Glyph of Alchemy and the Glyph of Overload. Glyphs are for your harvesting things. But we all know how people feel about loot boxes on this show, and the Black Lion chest is a loot box, which is why you can't get them in Belgium. So, before we move on to the other thing, any further thoughts on the Black Lion stuff for what's going on here?
No.
What does this Warhorn look like?
I didn't look at it. I honestly didn't, because it's in the Black Lion chest, and I honestly, if I'm told that something's in the Black Lion chest, my brain just turns off.
Same.
Because I'm not gonna... Like, I have the Elemental Sword, like the Guild Wars 1 skin, because every so often I'll just grab 5 keys. And I got lucky. Yeah. So how's it look, H?
I can't find a picture of it right away, so I'll look for one later. But
if it's not on the wiki yet, then it's meh.
Yeah. So it's if it looks good, you want to RNG for it, I guess, but
don't RNG for it.
It seems more, from its thumbnail picture, it looks kind of like
Now, when it says smoking pipe, is it like, you know, the
yes,
Sherlock Holmes with his opium? Yeah.
No, not. It's kind of looks like that, but with where the smoke comes out, it's kind of like a small bowl, and then it looks like it's surrounded by like bone claws.
Okay.
That's what the thumbnail looks like. I can't really describe it any better.
I hate saying this because I think the people. Oh, you got it. Okay, let's take a look.
That's what the thumbnail looks like. I can't describe it any better.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. Like we've talked about this a lot, so it's the same thing over and over again. But it doesn't. Yeah, there's just a lot of cosmetics in the Gemstore, and some of the really good ones that you might actually want to buy are in Black Lion chests. So,
which, I mean, on the bright side, these things usually do show up in the Black Lion statuette shop eventually. So if you really like the RNG ones, just wait.
Yeah,
I mean, you still have to open chests to
get the statues. So. Yeah, but I mean, if you really care for it, you can do your key farm run. You can buy that, and then you'd be fine. So do it that way. But okay, are we ready to talk about the rage thing?
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this past week, the Guild Wars 2 Twitter unveiled the Ultimate Die Pack. This was tweeted out. It said it will only be available for 72 hours. This went out March 26th. It's only going to be available for 3 days. The Ultimate Die Pack, available for the next 72 hours. This kit contains 2 exclusive color swatches, each containing your choice of 1 exclusive die, and a die kit sampler containing 1 each of 30 die kits for 4,000 gems. That is a $50 die pack.
Yep.
So, I was doing the math on this, and it's going to be a little misleading because the 2 most expensive dies on the Gemstore, or on the trading post right now are the Prismatic die for 1,000 gold and the Visions die for 395 gold. Now, the problem with that is those are both from the Aurene die kit. You cannot get 2 Aurene die kits out of this because the 2 choosy die kits that are similar to the ones we get for our birthdays, or for the character birthdays in-game, you get the 2012 to 2016 die pack, that's the first one, and then 2017 to 2021. So you only get 1 from those 2 windows of time for the exclusive dies released. The die pack sampler is 30 die kits from 30 different sets. Those are all the things where it is a 6 in 25 chance to get the unique die. So you're not even guaranteed a unique die from those 30. Now,
Yay.
if you were capable of getting 2 Aurene dies, you would actually make money off of this spending the gems, because 4,000 gems converts to 1,300 gold right now. So you'd be able to turn that into 1,400 gold, but you can't get 2 things from the Aurene die kit, and you can't sell them because they're account bound. At best, you get 32 new dies out of this, which, considering the luck that people have getting the dies out of the actual die kits, you're not getting. And the die kits that you have, like the click ones, you're not guaranteed to get new dies out of those. This is, personally, I find this to be a joke. Like, this is awful, because they are saying that this kit is worth more than 2 premium mount skins. So I really hope that this never shows up again, because this is awful. Or both Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire, yeah. Like, dies are not this valuable. And even, we talked about the Black Lion trading post, GW2BLTC.com. They have a die picker where you can find dies that look similar to other dies in the game. So, you know, if one die is too expensive for you, you could buy another one. A die that has a 92.6% match with Prismatic costs 15 gold.
Yay.
So
That makes
1,000 gold, 15 gold.
Yeah, don't get it.
Don't buy this. Like, anytime we see a new die kit pop up in the Gemstore, and we actually talk about Gemstore stuff that week, I realize I say, like, every time we all talk, it's like, don't buy this, it's terrible value.
right.
This is even worse value.
This is kind of, yeah, it's a scam pretty much. I'm sorry. It's pretty much a scam. You don't. You literally get 2 dies that you would want, and then the rest are totally RNG and that you could already have, and they sell for like 10 silver.
Right.
It's not worth it.
I feel like if it guaranteed you to get 30 dies that don't already have, it would be more of a debatable value.
Yeah.
Even if it would be much more cost effective to buy it off the trading post.
It's true.
Really?
Yeah. Just get the ones you want off the trading post is not
True.
worth it.
Yeah, it would actually be if you're somebody who doesn't mind investing the time, it would be better if you were going to spend the 4K gems anyway. It would be better to spend it on character slots, create characters, and literally just have those characters there to pick birthday kit dies.
True.
Actually, you could even turn like even half of those gems into the dies that you would want. Because like for me, if there's a die that I want, I would probably buy it off the trading post or something close to it, because like it's not. I don't have every die, and I've played this game since launch, so it's like I don't need every die. I just need the dies that I want. So when there's a hue that I don't have for a certain skin, but I haven't changed anything in a while, but if there's one I wanted, I would go look up a trading post and see like if I can get it or not. If I can't, I'll go to the next best thing and get that. Like if you're highly into Fashion Wars and you need that die, then
Get to farming.
I don't think you should be spending $50 on that though. It's a bit much.
No, that's food for like 3 weeks. Like easy.
Wait, food for 3 weeks for $50?
Yeah. If you make soup or stew,
Oh.
rice. Like if
I was gonna say,
dude, I can live on stew and soup. Like it's not a big deal for me. I would gladly do that. But like
most soups have onion.
do you have a problem with onion?
I'm allergic to onion.
Oh, that's right, I forgot. What about shallot? No, that's an after show topic.
Okay.
Culinary stuff, definitely an after show topic. But like ramen and hot dogs for a whole month, yeah, that's true. Like there's so much better you can get for like even in Guild Wars 2. If you're going to be spent like if you are dead set on buying 4,000 gems, like if you are absolutely positively going to buy 4,000 gems worth of stuff, there are better things you could spend your money on.
Well, it's like we were talking about 4,000 gems is 2 of the flashy mountains.
Which even now they've knocked the 2K price to 1,600 for all the new ones that have been coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you can get 2 of the flashier mounts that come out, and plus you still have 800 gems left over.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be better served dropping 4,000 gems on fucking Black Lion keys, and you'd get more out of it than buying the die kit. I'm not saying you'd be like guaranteed getting a rare, but you would still get more stuff that was more worthwhile than the die kit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's me advocating buying loot box shit over this. Like, it's that bad. So don't buy it. For the love of God, do not buy it. Please. Don't tell their marketing team that this is a good idea. Which the Twitter responses, people are saying this is not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, yeah.
It's a cash grab. I'm sorry, it's really bad.
Yeah. The one thing that White Strike is bringing up is that somebody in map chat was asking what's the most expensive die I can sell from this pack, and that's the thing is you can't. It's account bound. If you get to pick it, you don't get to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
It's how they work. So,
like, you could ostensibly from the setup get randomly prismatic sell, not from the choose, but from the random ones.
Though you get one Aurene die kit from the die pack sampler, because that's the thing is you just get one of 30 different exclusive die sets, die kits. So for every one of those 30, you have one chance to get an exclusive die in that 6 over 25.
Right.
Which, like we've talked before about those odds, it's awful. So yeah, I mean, if you want to buy this on the off chance that you could somehow get the prismatic die out of the Aurene kit, it's still not a great value.
Yeah.
So, and then all of the other die kits, it's just like what Tavik is saying, is that dies are only expensive in the first year that they're out. So a lot of the dies are like close to a year or over a year old. You'd be better off just spending a bit of time and farming the gold to actually just buy the die from the trading post if that's the one you want.
Yeah. Like, I remember back when the game came out, Abyss and Celestial were the expensive dies.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they've crashed, you know?
Because the goal was to have, what, like, the brightest white and the darkest black were those the colors then. I remember the price of white and black dye in Guild Wars 1.
Yeah, it was a very rare thing.
So, yeah, the birthday rewards, Mofongo, have reduced a lot of the die costs, which is great, which actually makes me doubly wonder why this was even floated as an idea.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing, is I can totally see people who would buy the choosy ones. Like, people who would clamor at the opportunity to buy the birthday kit ones. But not like this. Not like this. But before we move on from this, any final thoughts?
Oh, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's enough talk about that before I have any more blood pressure problems with this than I already do. To go to something a bit fluffier, we've got WvW Linkings. I'm just going to post the link in
Yay!
chat, and then I'll drop the link, of course, in the YouTube description. Age, you're with Northern Shiver Peaks.
Yeah, I saw some people complain about that.
Oh, really?
Is that a bad thing?
Because, well, it's Blackgate, so.
Blackgate thinks paired with anybody is bad.
No, I think like people don't like that Blackgate being paired with another server is fair. So I understand that.
Well, there's no single server in NA anymore. There are two. Let's see here. There's one EU pairings. Baruch Bay, Ilona Reach, and Underworld are the only servers by themselves. So there are only 3 solo servers in all of WvW for all servers of Guild Wars 2.
That
that
tells
like-
me that it's declining.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that's an indicator that it's hugely declined.
3 servers lost their host status, and 3 links are now hosts in NA. Okay. We're with Emery Bay, Arlie.
Yay!
Which makes me wonder if we're fighting Age again. I don't know what the pairings are. No,
Actually,
No, we've got Ferguson's Crossing and Dragon.
Okay. DB and FC, yeah. I'm okay with that. Oh yeah, wow. The first comment on that. Blackgate Northern Shiver Peaks? You've got to be kidding me. Blackgate gaming the system again. I don't know. The social aspect of WvW makes me weary about getting into WvW. Because, like, seriously trying to get into WvW always seems like you have to deal with people who... There are egos involved. I guess.
Yep.
And
yeah, just follow a tag, that's all.
Oh, I would love to do that, but the number of times people run around with the tag hidden is really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
because as much as I wanted that to be a thing for like open world PvE stuff to happen, that happening in WvW, because there are spies from the other servers, and it's just like, yeah, and they're gonna know where you are anyway because the giant blob of people running around is just gonna let them know where the commander is. Who cares if your tag's out? Like, if you hide the tag in WvW thinking you're hiding the fact that you're tagged up, I don't know. It's just...
Yeah, I mean, some guilds just want to run by themselves. I understand that. So.
Yeah. But I've just seen some people in map chat talking like some kind of mind gamey shit, and it's just like, you're putting way too much thought and effort into this.
Well, like, the other thing is, I understand guilds wanting to run alone, but like, it's intentional that world versus world is incredibly large scale, you know?
People
It
don't
feels
want...
like...
I think that's what Mthongo was getting at, is people don't want things to snowball. Like, they want to run with a small squad, I guess. Prethos, yes. The population of the game is actually pretty shockingly stable.
The game itself, whole game, not...
Yeah. Yeah, World versus World is kind of flagging because there haven't been any like serious major changes in a while. But welcome back to the game. It's you're coming back at a great time. We're speaking to comment on your on people waiting on the Steam release. We were thinking that they're going to wait until after End of Dragons releases before they drop that, just so that when people buy it, they have everything.
Yeah. Just note that if you want it on Steam, you can't port the current version onto Steam.
Right.
So,
because if you have a Steam account, you have the Steam account, and you can't, because Steam wants their cut of whatever you buy. And White Strike, you have a point. As I think that's actually something me and Arlie were talking about. Is like earlier in the show, or earlier in the pre-show, that Guild Wars 2 has just been remarkably stable for how old a game it is.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was when I accidentally marked episode 2863 for the end card.
Well, that's one of the things. Like, anytime anybody is ever complaining about there not being population in Guild Wars 2 or it's flagging or whatever, it's always in terms of certain activities that they were looking to do.
Yeah.
Like,
PvP
which
and
isn't good,
WW,
but
really.
still. Yeah, it's not the same as the game is overall dying.
Yeah. But WvW Linkings, or thoughts on WvW in general before we move on to the next bit?
Still need to finish my work.
I mean, if you want to make that a Tuesday night thing, we can continue Operation Help Arlie Do Things.
Yeah, that was fun, actually.
Okay, then.
That.
Maybe we'll do that on Tuesday and actually have a plan going into this for once. But Age, no further WvW comments other than your tanking.
yeah. This world is just those server merges. Seems like there's a definite decline, and that's just expected, given that there's little support for the mode. So,
barring anything coming up for the Alliance system, like just End of Dragons coming out and us seeing new Elite specs, do you think you're going to see a bump in WvW?
yes, just because an aspect of World versus World is different compositions, so people will probably want to play around with those. So it might be a slight bump. I don't know if it'll be big or not, but
yeah, I was gonna say anytime something like that happens, there's always a bump across the board, and then it'll go back down again unless they get alliances out pretty quickly after.
yeah, the only way I see like a huge bump is if they announce a new map. So
I would love to see a new map just so we could have 3, and then the Borderlands would rotate. I think that would be a cool idea. But I suppose the finer thing is, before we get to Community Corner, that Shaman talking on Twitter about the macOS client. that is still getting updates, but the play button has been removed. So when you start up the game, the client, it pops up, it downloads stuff, but there's no play button, so you can't actually launch the game.
I was thinking about this recently, and I honestly thought it was like, oh, did they? Because I thought initially what they said is that they were going to like not support it, as in they can still push builds, but eventually like it'll break type of deal, so
Yeah.
you can't play. But that's not what they said. So they literally said they wouldn't be pushing any more stuff to it. So that was interesting. So um I don't know if how their build process works in terms of pushing content out. I guess it's universal in that regard.
Is it beyond the, like, I don't know what it's like to develop for Mac versus PC. Is it beyond the realm of reason to think that there are some files that are universal?
I
Like, I'd
would say,
imagine
like assets.
Yeah.
Like assets will always be like universal. Like since they're using OpenGL, I mean that's pretty much a open source thing. So
So I'd imagine like what was probably getting downloaded was like a shared repository for like spell effects and stuff, like any of the
yeah,
graphical resources that would go to your machine to
yeah,
make
like
communication easier.
graphics, art, text, like anything that isn't specific to the OS would be out there. So I think it is possible to keep pushing builds to Mac. It's just that if there's any hardware or updates that any software updates regarding hardware that have to be done, they just can't support that, or
Yeah.
they won't support that anymore. I think that's what they meant.
I mean, I think essentially what they're saying is the amount of people actually using the Mac OS is just, it doesn't equate to being worth dev time to keep up going with any new things that come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, in addition to like Apple not gonna be doing their proprietary stuff.
Apple
Right.
killing their ability for people to use them for gaming.
I mean, people spend thousands of dollars on new iPhone, like so they're still making money. I don't know how they're doing it, but they are
Because
really good
well,
marketing.
at this point it's just the brand thing. Like
Yeah,
the computers could be shit and people would still
Well,
buy them.
I was gonna say it's not just the brand. For like, so I have an iPhone. For me, I like it is that like I understand how it works in that thing,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm used to it and it's comfort. So there's some of that because the way Android and Windows Phone is just fundamentally different the way they operate.
Funny
yeah,
that
that's fair.
there's no more Windows Phone.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Yeah,
they actually realized that their phone OS was a failure. So anything that comes out as a like the Surface Duo,
Uh-huh.
it runs on Android.
Oh, okay then.
Which I'll admit, part of me, the ooh shiny part of my brain wants it because it's a folding phone with like the folding glass, and I'm just like, ooh
Cool.
shiny, cool tech.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also it's like a $1,500 phone, and I'm just like, I just spent 15,000 on my Windows. Not gonna do
Yeah.
that. But honestly, I'm sitting here and like the second that if I had a Mac, if I was a person who had a Mac, and the second that play button disappeared, I don't understand why anybody would keep Guild Wars 2 installed at this point.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of my question here is why
Well,
are you?
also, like, I feel like, especially long-term players, there was a lag when the Mac build was really good and like it had a lot of issues early on. So a lot
Mhm.
of players you have Windows installed on your Mac anyway to switch over to play games a
Yeah.
lot. That's like your main computer. So I feel like there's probably some amount of Mac users who are still doing that, even though they had gotten the Mac version of the client up to, you know,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think it'll, in the grand scope of the game population itself.
Yeah.
For them.
So ultimate verdict for, our thoughts here is that it's just pulling from files that would be shared in distribution between Mac and PC. And that's all that we're really seeing with the download, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we're going to finish on an upbeat note with Community Corner. Going
Yay.
to Gamers Giving Back. They're hosting a Toga party.
Toga.
Toga. Gotta grab the tweet so people can see the info with the really cool art that somebody did from Malcolmist. Honestly, it's the way the art looks is giving me like some Hades vibes. like the way the cell shading is done and like the shadowing, it looks really good. But they're like Angelica Starr, she was doing grape stomping. She came back, she hopped in chat earlier in the show for that, and it's always great to hear this group doing stuff because multiple sclerosis charity. It's great to hear from them. And for those of you listening on YouTube, I don't know, it's April 24th they're doing this, so you'll be able to look in the description for the links for stuff, so if you want to join up for that. But they also have their Discord. You can follow them on Twitter, all that stuff. So gay people doing things, right, guys?
Yes.
And Gamers Giving Back is fairly prolific and a lot of stuff going on with charities, so always good to see more stuff from them. Things and stuff. Yay! Exactly, Mofongo. That's perfect. So, to round things out, any further thoughts on anything we talked about today, friends? The deafening silence says that's a no.
Yeah.
So, that means it's time to go to the outro. So, ladies and gentlemen, we move to Arlie. And Arlie, where can they find you?
On Twitter and Instagram at Arlie82. Yay.
And definitely not on OnlyFans.
No.
Definitely not. And Age, where can they find you?
You could find my OnlyFans at find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at Age Night Road. I'm trying to get back into content creation again. So it'll be fun times. Got a whole bunch of new assets for a stream, so you could check it out. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Huzzah. Awesome. And you can find myself on Twitter at MalfanusMMO. You can find this channel live on Tuesdays at 8 p.m.-ish Eastern for our group game shenanigans, where Uno, where we flaunted our we in our hubris decided to play a normal game of Uno with all of the modifiers.
It was awesome.
Yellow. So we had that. Sounds like it might be another Operation Help Arlie Do Things in Guild Wars 2 this coming Tuesday. But Uno, sometimes Vermintide, sometimes Minecraft, all kinds of games with all of the Mad Realms crew. And then on Thursdays, I play PvP games at 8 p.m. Eastern. I've been playing Apex recently, and I ruined my my scorecard with kills this time around. So I don't know how to fix that, but I guess there's no crying over spilled milk. And then, once again, Talking Skritt on Saturdays at... Oh, we lost somebody. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait, he's back.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I am now Age. I am going to go back to the main view. Oh, wait, he's back. Okay, cool. So it's next Saturday, Talking Skritt, 4 p.m. Eastern. So, ladies and gentlemen, we hope to see you there. And we hope to see you next time. So, have a good evening, and we will catch you all later. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.